Okay, gonna wait for to come in here, but like I said, we spoke with Eric King about the hiring of Mike Krantz. We spoke with him for about a half hour, so I'm gonna wait for some people to come in, start going from there. Okay, we got some people coming in here. So once we got a few more, I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about it. So it was not the exact conversation I was hoping to have with him, but it was a start to hopefully more future conversations that we can have. And this may be pretty quick because I have to going to see play some music here. Okay, so it looks like we got 13 people. That is enough to start, in my opinion. So, first off, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out today. Thank you to the people that dropped off stuff for us to drink. David was one of them. We appreciate you. Thank you for the people that showed up out there. Thank you for the people that called and emailed. Just thank you, everybody, for helping us out today and helping us get attention. It's a little bit annoying that Eric King decided to talk to us right at the end at 5 o'clock, but I do appreciate him reaching out and calling me. Really, the main point of the conversation was just voicing our concerns about the hiring of Mike Krantz because have seen that he has been involved or may have been involved with some things that are not necessarily what he should be involved with, and we should be holding these people accountable that are making these choices. So I told him my experiences here in Bend and what it feels like for the hiring of Krantz, because to be quite frank, he definitely seems like a problematic hiring and a hiring that is a direct threat to the activist community, especially the people of color, since we are in quite some emotional times here right now, and when emotions get high, some people make bad decisions. So one of the bad decisions that was brought up to Mike Krantz in the meeting with Embrace Bend was, let's say somebody throws a water bottle at you. Do you think gas is necessary? That wasn't the exact question, but not his exact words. The answer was yes, I will use gas, which that's unacceptable. If you are wearing riot gear, which if you've ever seen a riot cop, they are suited up from head to toe with just padding and just things that can stop stuff like that, there's no way he would have been hurt. There's no way a lot of people could get hurt by a water bottle being thrown at them when they're wearing that amount of padding. Especially Kevlar, just bulletproof vests, I can't see a water bottle hurting somebody. But he thinks that that is cause for gas, so that's a problem. And just because one person makes a mistake of throwing a water bottle does not mean all of us deserve to be gassed. That's not how this works. What Eric King did bring up that he is looking to do, they have the police chief committee that works with city council, and he wants somebody on the peacekeepers to be involved with that. So I imagine that I'll be the one stepping in doing that because I'm frankly probably one of the more annoying ones out of all of us. I'm the one that's going to be the stick in your side up until I hear something that I want to hear. That doesn't mean I don't take no for an answer. It does mean that I have standards, and we as citizens are held to a high standard, so I believe our officials should be held to the same high standard, if not higher. So that is something that I will, if they are going to put one of us on that committee, I would love to throw input on police chief, especially in the future. He did say if Mike Krantz immediately becomes an issue and something happens, that he will obviously remove him, which 100%, I think we're all in agreement. If there is an issue, he needs to be taken out and not be the police chief anymore. Let's see. On a more troubling note, not a note that I don't necessarily agree with, he did say that there is no room to restart the process, which my counter answer to that was, well, since the community didn't really feel that engaged in the process of picking this person, why not give like a 30-day probationary period or something like that where he can have more interaction with the community? So we can talk with him, we can talk with Eric King, everybody can just feel like they're being heard. And he wasn't necessarily open to a large meeting of people to voice their concerns, which because of COVID, that makes sense. But he did commit that probably the week after Krantz's start date, so the week of August 17th, he will meet with us. He will, Eric King, Mike Krantz, myself, and maybe 2 or 3 other people will be in the same room. We will talk with them. We will ask the questions. We will ask you guys what kind of questions you would like us to bring to the table. And we will make sure that the tough questions are asked. And hopefully we can get more clarification from Krantz and we can see that he is not a problem and that he's willing to work with us. Or the flip side, he could just completely show that he is a massive issue, and that could be the starting point to getting him removed. Let's see, we got a question here. Why was he chosen over other candidates? Eric did go over his vetting process, which I can't explain in great detail how he got there, but what I can say is that it was thorough enough. He mentioned that there was no sort of misconduct or anything on Krantz's record, from what he was able to tell, but we have seen that that is just not the case. We have a very obvious answer to that, and that is the fact that Mike Krantz was named in some of the information involving the text messaging scandal with Joey Gibson, who is the leader of Patriot Prayer. And I'm not going to immediately say that they are white supremacists, but I would not be surprised if a lot of them were white supremacists or involved in other hate groups. And Patriot Prayer is just a very aggressive, very right-sided group of individuals, which to each their own, but they are dangerously so to a point. So it's something that we brought up. It's something that we said was very troubling, that he was not able to find that. And maybe he did find it, and he's just not wanting to admit that he had that oversight, something. But that is something that I do plan on bringing up again when we do actually get to meet with him in the next couple of weeks and actually get a face-to-face conversation, because I feel the face-to-face conversations are the best way to actually make this happen. So they should change the way they do it. That's a really weird excuse for bringing him, really. I agree. For some reason, Eric King did explain it, but it still just doesn't really add up, because I think all of us as people would have been able to look at Mike Krantz, look at where he came from, and honestly, just like the cops do with us, look at just our factors that are immediately around us without looking directly at us and make an assumption off of that. And that's, in a sense, what we did, but we also have things to back it up. We have seen YouTube videos of the Portland Police Bureau using gas just hundreds of times. There's way too many videos. Go to YouTube, type in tear gas in Portland, you're going to find so many videos, it's ridiculous. So, it's just, where did Mike Krantz step in on that? Because clearly, if he's okay with tear gassing people that throw water bottles at him, what is he going to think of me? Just standing there. Some people I'm not scary, to some people I'm really scary. According to him, I ambush people, so if my words are an ambush, what is me just standing on the street going to look like to you? I might look like the biggest threat in North America at that point to him. And that's unacceptable. And I hope that he answers that. And I hope that more conversations are had. And I hope they know that the pressure is not going to let up. This is unacceptable. This choosing is unacceptable. We understand why Eric felt the need to choose him, but we are never going to agree with the reasons as to why he was chosen. We do not endorse other candidates, but we do know other people were asking for a local candidate like Captain Parker or Lieutenant Beekman. Those were both people that have been in Oregon. They've been in Bend, Oregon specifically. They've engaged with us specifically, and they've engaged with the activist community and the people of color here that are on the streets working. So this is just something that it needs to happen. We need to be listened to, and I'm going to make sure the peacekeepers as a whole are going to make sure that the entire community is listened to. We are the people that pay the taxes that put money in their pockets, or at least in some of their pockets. We are the people that they need to answer to, not to themselves. They are part of this community, but the community is large. It's not just the handful of them that are in those fancy rooms, that are the city councilors, that are the mayor. It's not those people. They are part of our collective community, but they need to understand that it is a collective community and that we need to work together to make these choices, especially when it comes to somebody who's going to be holding us to high standards. So there's no reason why this can't be reconsidered. It is obviously a time-consuming process to choose somebody like this because there's a lot of vetting that has to happen, but it needs to happen. There needs to be some sort of reconciliation for this. There needs to be an offer rescinded. There needs to at least be a chance for the citizens as a whole to talk with these people and make sure that their voices felt heard. Because I can say 100%, the last thing I remember seeing about the public being able to voice an opinion on Chief Krantz, or just the chief position in general, was way back, and I think I had already missed the deadline. And before that, I can't even remember when when the chance was open to actually make a public comment on that. So, if you feel like I do, that's why we're here. Something needs to happen. We know some members of clergy agree with us. We've clearly had people in the community out there standing with us. We have enough support. We have at least one person behind us, and that's enough for me. If at least one other person thinks that there is an issue with something going on, then it deserves to be brought up. Obviously not everybody's going to always be happy, but if you have an issue with something that is going on, you deserve to be heard. That is what this country is built on. We are allowed to have opinions. We're allowed to say what we want. But if all you're going to say is a bunch of hurtful stuff, if all you're going to say is just a bunch of things about people not needing to go home, needing to do something else, or you're just going to be mad at somebody because of their skin color, you can get the fuck out. This is a country that was founded on immigration. This is a country that thrives with immigration. And this is a country that will 100% always work better as long as we follow that all men are created equal, that we all deserve equal freedoms, that we all deserve equal rights, and we deserve to live here and feel comfortable. Right now, in Bend, Oregon, I don't feel comfortable. Part of that is my fault because I am an antagonistic person and I like to make people mad. And I'm going to continue making people mad, especially if what they do is spit a bunch of hateful rhetoric. So, if that's where you are, if you're going to spit hateful rhetoric, then get out. Or else I'm just going to piss you off. You say what you want in the comfort of your own home. Don't bring your Confederate flag out anymore. But, getting back to the main point, like I said, I do appreciate Eric for giving the call. I wish it could have been something that was face-to-face, but obviously, he's probably a little bit intimidated. I would be too if I was in his position and I had a group of angry citizens calling for something to happen, especially when it came to my choice. But he put himself in this position. He needs to hear from the community at large, and we will speak. We're not being quiet anymore. Somebody said years ago this would have just been something we brushed under the rug. Now, that's not happening anymore. We're not just brushing these little things under the rug anymore, because they're not little, they're massive. You can't hide an elephant under a rug. Mike Krantz is that elephant. He can't be hidden. He is a problem. We see he's a problem. Until we have proof that he is not a problem, then we're just going to keep doing what we need to do. I said in the live videos, I live 5 minutes away from City Hall. I'll walk down there. I will go down there as frequently as I need to feel heard. I appreciate that, but let's be 100% honest. There, I do poke the dragon. I consider myself the Steve Irwin of dealing with racists and people that are on the other side. I will poke you and poke you and poke you until you lunge at me, and then I'm just going to get out of the way and figure out what you're going to do. You deserve to be poked. Nobody deserves to feel comfortable in this country if what you're going to do is speak hate, or if what you're going to do is directly infringing on somebody else's rights. So, with that being said, I do have somewhere I got to go right now. If there are any more questions, I can do another live later tonight or tomorrow. But for right now, we will hopefully have a meeting. No, not even hopefully. We are going to have a meeting with Eric King in a couple of weeks. We are going to be talking about Chief Krantz again. And we are not going to just accept that he is the only person that is acceptable for this job. Because 100%, if he is acceptable for the job, I could be the police chief. I hate police, but I could be the police chief if Krantz is eligible to be the police chief. That's how I see it. He thinks he can gas people for throwing a water bottle. I want to laugh at people that throw a water bottle. But I'm not a police officer. I don't want to be a police officer. I don't want to even be a politician, but whatever happens, happens. So, like I said, if there are any more questions, feel free to message. Feel free to message me directly through my personal page if you're friends with me on Facebook, or find me on Facebook, and we will figure this out. The question, what does he bring to make Bend better? I literally have no idea. I don't think Eric King answered that. If he did, I apologize for not remembering, but I literally have zero clue as to what Mike Krantz brings that makes Bend a better community. There's nothing. I literally cannot think of a single thing. If somebody can think of something that Krantz has to offer to this community that could be beneficial, please do bring it up. I would love to hear about it. I hate the fact that I have to dislike somebody so instantly, but it's how it has to happen right now. This is somebody with a problematic past from a problematic area, and he needs to ease our minds. He needs to not say that we're ambushing him because we're concerned citizens. He needs to talk with us. He needs to understand where we're coming from as a community, and he needs to get on our level. And then he just needs to figure it out from there. Thank you for posting the next city council meeting. So for anybody that is interested in posting a public comment in that, if you go to the city government website, I imagine they have ways where you can either call in or Zoom in, like a Zoom meeting, or just a way to make a public comment here. And a public comment should be made. If you aren't able to come out in the streets, if you aren't able to make a phone call right now, if you're too busy to make an email, next week we have the city council meeting. Say something in that city council meeting. I used to think that would never help, but I'm starting to understand more that sometimes that is what needs to happen in order to make these changes. It's a really small, minuscule step, but that minuscule step could be the first step on the moon. You never know what that little step is going to be. So don't hesitate to reach out to these people. They do talk if you put enough pressure on them. And I'm going to go enjoy my night. I hope everybody else enjoys your night. Come out to Worthy Brewing if you have freedom tonight, and see Sean Allen, see some good music, and just support local people, support local businesses, support your community, and always challenge the people that are above you, because if they're going to be making choices for you, then they need to be making the choices for you, not just for themselves. So, have a good night. Thank you.